That takes us to our final item, PH 1816, 3100 Western Road, notice of intention. There you go. That almost never happens to me. Thank you. Okay. So we have a number of deputants. The first deputant is Edith George.
Just a second.
Edith, when you're ready, you go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair and Committee. I brought the application forward for designation dated August 28th, 2020 for the Rivermead House and the Marian Shrine. When I discovered the document that the Rivermead House was included on the North York inventory in 1997, I became curious as to why St. Basil's the Great School, now the Lease Carmine Stefano Community Center, was not listed on this inventory. The Marian Shrine did not exist in 1997. In August 2020, I had a well-respected heritage architect come and examine the structures at 3100 Weston Road. He examined the Rivermead House, and then we walked to the back of the community center because he wanted to see the back of the house and the vistas to the west. I spoke to him about the community center and some of its history. He didn't even blink an eye at the structure, let alone comment on it. He asked me if I had put an application in for designation for the house, and I said no. And then he snapped at me. And he really snapped at me and said, get the application in, which I did for the house and the Marian Shrine. If the heritage architect had told me to add the community center to my application, I would have. I have learned that designations under the Provincial Ontario Heritage Act cover properties in their entirety. I don't understand this reasoning because one of the mandates of the province and the City of Toronto is housing. We need housing. A developer purchased this site in August 2023. The community only wants the Rivermead House and the Marian Shrine designated. This property scored a 6 out of 9 regarding the evaluation table. This score perhaps should have been a 7 out of 9 because of item 3. The property has design value because it demonstrates a high degree of technical achievement, end quote. That to me is the $75,000 swimming pool and its design. It was no little engineering skill in the construction of that pool. The water is brought from the Humber River, filtered and chlorinated. Mechanical equipment has been installed, designed to raise the temperature of the pool when necessary. Percy and Gertrude Gardner were philanthropic volunteers. They both passed away before the creations of the Order of Canada and Ontario. But their son, daughter, son-in-law, and daughter-in-law, all 4 of them became members of the Order of Canada.
Edith, I'm afraid you're at your time.
Okay, just one more sentence.
One last sentence, yeah.
The area that I live have virtually no heritage resources except for Rivermead House and the Marian Shrine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
Oh, any questions?
No, seeing no questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Emmanuel Legrano.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Councilman. So around 2015, my grandfather discovered the shrine after coming from work. It's been a big impact to my family. My whole family has been going there since 2015, 2017, as well as a lot of schools have gone there, from elementary school high schools, even some colleges as well, and special needs people as well. This shrine means a lot to the community, not just to me in general, but to my family as well, because it gave us the opportunity of hope and to persevere, because it's helped us through times of hardship, times of joy, and especially in my family, it's helped a lot in us. Going there to pray, it's a wonderful sight, as well as it just fills you up with joy. Have a lot of good memories there as well. As a kid going there, it has really impacted me in my life and as well as my family. Like I said, if it wasn't for my grandfather, just casually coming back from work, going through the area and just seeing this beautiful little grotto over there, we would have never met all these wonderful people that you see behind me, as well as, the lady in charge of this, and Carboni. Like I said, it's been a good, and like I said, more in the aspect of a spiritual aspect. It's been fundamental to a lot of people, and it's impacted a lot of people's lives. And like I said, not just my life, it's impacted my mom, my brother, my grandparents as well, and all my family, and all these people that you see here, because they truly love this place. Like I said, it's impacted a lot of kids from all schools, from elementary to high school, and even college as well. A lot of my friends as well have gone to this shrine, as a field trip, and it's been a lot for them as well. They've been suffering through a lot, and they came to this beautiful place and they found hope and dreams and stuff like that. So that's basically it.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Emmanuel? No? Thank you for coming and sharing with us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, I have Rose Savage. Rose, I understand you're online. Can you hear me, Rose?
I could hear you. I just can't see me, but that's fine. That's great. Good afternoon, Chair Gord Burks, Council and committee members, and all the deputants there. My name is Rose Savage, and I'll be speaking on the 6 articles. Can you hear me? I'm just hearing an
Yes,
echo.
you're coming through loud and clear.
Okay, great. 6 articles made available to anyone that's on the internet regarding 3100 Western Road, and as it relates to heritage, as follows. So number 1 is the architect of Emery's treasured Rivermead Village Voice. That's posted in emeryvillagevoice.ca. It was dated March 2022 and written by Edith George. The second one is Rivermead House and its owner Percy Gardner Emery Village Voice. That is on emeryvillagevoice.ca. It was dated April 2022, written by Edith George. The third one is North York resident calls for fixes to Carmine Stefano, and that's in toronto.com, dated July 11, 2019, and it was updated in March 27, 2023 by Edith George. The fourth one was Rivermead House and its second owner, Jethro Krang Emery Village Voice. That's in emeryvillagevoice.ca, dated May 2022 by Edith George. The fifth one is tripadvisory.ca, which has the Marian Shrine of Gratitude, Toronto, Ontario. And finally, the last one, 6, blogto.com has the Marian Shrine of Gratitude, Toronto, and that was dated October 25th, 2020 by Tanya Mock. So all that being said, as a licensed real estate professional and lawyers, they ensure that the buyer is made aware of anything that's heritage in nature and does the necessary research and due diligence on the land, its type, and its use as a designated shrine for all to enjoy. In addition, any existing applications with decades of dedication from community members, public officials, as well as formal and informal contracts and agreements in place to support the community's use, this too would be brought to the buyer's attention during inspections and should not have been ignored, nor can buyers attempt to change bylaws immediately during inspections phase and prior to closing the transaction. So formal acknowledgement, understanding, agreement, concurrence, and consent prior to legal binding signatures respects the heritage applications already in progress at the City of Toronto. This formal consent and sign-off is required in order to proceed with the closing of the transaction. The legal binding agreement is signed and sealed, and once it's signed, the transaction is closed. This now becomes an informed buyer who cannot dispute, demand immediate change, or escalate to LPOT knowingly. The
Rose,
planning department,
Rose,
okay, so
I'm
in
gonna have to,
summary,
I'm gonna
okay,
have
in summary and conclusion, is that okay?
one last sentence.
Okay, well, this transaction ignores and disrespects the City of Toronto and community at large, and their failure to adhere to these established processes and needs to the community. So thank you very much.
Thank
and I
you
would
so
like
much.
a recorded voice if possible. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions for Rose? No, seeing none. Rose, thank you very much for sharing that with us today. The next
you.
deputant I have listed is Angela Carboni.
Okay.
You've never had so much action, I bet, in this place.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
But good action?
Uh,
Anyway,
Please, go ahead,
I
Angela.
have a video to show. And we were told just to come here. You have 3 minutes, but can we combine our 3 minutes and make it 5? Huh?
My name is Sonia D'Agostino. Thank you.
Thank you. Here you go. I brought a video because there's over 22,000 people in Toronto, and as you see, we have an audience crying out for this place because they love it. And this is why. There's no volume. There's no sound. Turn it up.
Angie Carboni, who has been leading this for 15 years. So Angie, what's the story of how this shrine came to be?
There's a beautiful story about a man who right now is in heaven smiling at us and praying for us. But this is a monument that my dear Father Basil left us about a story that actually happened to him. And as you can see in the monument, he's wearing glasses. And he died without any glasses at all because he was planting tomatoes in this very spot. And this was a pool, and the pool was full of garbage. And basically he made it a garden. And he never dreamed that it would be so popular. But while he was planting tomatoes, a piece of wood went in his retina. And he immediately cried out to Mother Mary, "Pray for me." And Jesus saved my eye. And that day went to the hospital. When he did, was told, "You're never going to see out of that eye." But he was wearing 3 pairs of glasses, and he kept praying. And this is what faith does. It makes the impossible possible. So at the end of the night of October 4th, 2004, not only did he see out of the blind eye, he saw without glasses in both eyes.
This is his driver's license with glasses and without glasses, just to prove that it really happened. And this is a bishop that used to be with us on a regular basis, Bishop Lacey.
I'm giving a living testimony of the reality of this place, of the potential of this place, and of encouragement to those who come here for some growth in their spiritual life. It's got a lot of things going for it. The grounds itself are beautiful, and nature has a way of providing an aura for reflection, for prayer, and this place has got it. This place has got it.
Over the years, there's been 100 people healed of terminal cancer.
A good friend of mine
And these are
told
some.
me about the shrine. And I remember I came here and I was praying, and I met a very spiritual lady here as well, and she prayed with me and we prayed together. And I remember feeling this burning sensation in my lung, burning. And I said, oh my God, it feels so warm. It feels so great. And I immediately connected with this place. When I had my CT scan, they told me that they found a pocket of air where the lung was removed. I couldn't believe it. It was something that after, years of surgery shouldn't be happening, but it happened. And I would come here every week. And every week I would come here, I would feel better. I would feel stronger. I said, God, you know what? I'm going to leave this to you. My sickness is in your hands. At that point, nothing had gone away. I'd still had this cancer. And once I did that, I put all my faith in God. I had a CT scan. I was doing them every 3 months. And the scan showed that I was clear. I couldn't believe it. So they sent me for a bone scan. That also showed I was clear. And then I went to Sweden, where they specialize in this cancer, and they gave me a special scan. And that scan also showed that I was clear. And when we thanked the doctor for everything he had done, he had clearly said to me, don't thank me, thank God, because you received a miracle. And the place where I felt that miracle and where I felt God, it's right here at this shrine.
This place holds a very special place in my heart. It's a very peaceful sanctuary. I come to pray, and in May of this year, I came to pray. At the time, I wasn't able to walk. I had very bad neuropathy in my feet. I was using canes, the assistance of canes, and I did come and I prayed to the Mother Mary, and she did grant me the physical healing, but more importantly, spiritual healing, most importantly for me.
Now, Lourdes gets thousands visiting. Whenever the world is dark, God sends a messenger, and that's Mother Mary. She's appeared here. She's touched thousands of us. That's why we're all here, begging you to help us. I'm trying to work with the new owner to give us a place to pray, but this is a holy healing blessing for Canada and for Toronto. So please help us to preserve it, and you won't regret it. God bless you.
Can I? Yeah, Angela.
You could
Angela,
stay for a sec?
Angela,
Councillor
just,
Nunziata has a question for
just
you.
a question. So you support the recommendation that we have in the report today, right? Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure that
Yes.
I think we're
We're
all on
begging for it.
I think we're all on the same page,
Okay,
and that's what
good,
staff's
Nan.
recommending.
Francis, you know
Okay.
me. You've known me for 30 years. And they're all.
The next deputant is Adeba Harper. Good afternoon. Welcome.
I've lived with the community over 20 years, and the property at 31 Weston Road has become a profound part of my life. From utilizing the fields, the community center, and spending countless cherished moments at the shrine. This place has shaped my family's life in countless ways. Many people call it a little piece of heaven on earth. Personally, there was times when I felt lost and desperate need of hope. I would find myself walking through the shrine's gates, even as late as 3 a.m., simply sit there and reflect. In those quiet moments, I felt the safest and the comfort I've ever been. It was preserved where my faith and spirit was renewed. I also had the honor of meeting Father Bezel several times, whether it was through a quick chat, listening to one of his stories about the site, for those that even though added more depth to my connection to the shrine and its rich history. This place has also been a site of deeply personal miracles. I recall bringing family members who struggled to have children to the shrine. They prayed to Mother Mary and asked her, and within a year, I witnessed them holding their baby in their arms, even when the doctor said it was impossible. Stories like these aren't just unique to me, but they are recovered by countless others in the community. When I learned that the property was sold and the gates were closed, it was devastating, not just to me, but to so many who felt unbreakable bound with the sacred space. Feeling hopeless yet determined, I knew I could not stay silent. I took action by starting a social media group to keep the community informed, connected. Through this group, I provided updates, shared stories, and encouraged each other. Every evening, people gathered to pray and share their experiences. Through these gatherings, I met extraordinary individuals and listened to their incredible stories, miracles, healing, and rich history that extended my connection more to the shrine. Over time, we became a family. I spent hours listening to old members of the community who recount the history of the property, sharing pictures, even describing who planted the trees that still stand tall today. These stories have moved me deeply and strengthened my determination to protect the sacred space. Despite some challenges, we remained peaceful and held on to hope and faith, choosing to symbolize the very values that the shrine represents. In today's world filled with so much hate, division, and the struggle, places like the Marian Shrine of Gratitude are more than essential than ever. The shrine offers escape, source of hope, and a place to reflect people who are all walks of life. Today, I stand here, not on my own behalf, but also for those who cannot speak for themselves, those with language barriers, disabilities, and some that are even outside of Canada. I am begging you to revisit the rich history of this property and consider granting it heritage site.
Thank you very much, Adeba. That's your 3 minutes, okay?
Just one more sentence.
Oh, I'm feeling generous.
This isn't just preserving a building, it's protecting a legacy, the Gardner's family's history, and the trees planted, the stories live today. Most importantly, the shrine that has touched so many lives. Why take a little piece of heaven from earth when we desperately all need it today? I'll conclude it there.
Adeba, I have a quick question, Mr. Chair.
Adeba, come on back.
Yeah.
So inspiring that Councillor Perruzza needs to ask you a question.
Councillor Perruzza does need to ask you a question. Yes. I'm sorry I should have asked it of Angie Carboni, but I'll ask you the question because I don't want Councillor Nunziata or some of the others to be under any illusion. So that beautiful shrine we saw there in the video, does that still exist there? Okay.
Absolutely not.
And are you able to attend the site currently?
No, its original gates are gated, and the owner, God bless his faith, he's put extra fence. I recently shared a recent video, which it breaks my heart. I shake when I go there now. I hate to say this, please forgive me, but it's turned into hell. Yeah. But the faith and Mother Mary is still there asking for us to save the place.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to get that clarification on the record because I didn't want to leave the impression that it still exists, okay?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Yosvani Mirabel?
Peace, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon, everybody. You can tell what is in the air, what brought us, all of us here to save the shrine of gratitude, the Marian Shrine of Gratitude. And that's why we're here. We're grateful. We're followers. We're faithful people that believe in God. And with faith comes the hope that you hear from every single one person in this room, including me. 2 weeks ago, Sister Angie brought me to the shrine. It's fenced, outgrowing weeds. It's being destroyed, but it's something they cannot take out of there. It's Mother Mary, she's there. And for all the peoples, all the devotees, all the people that believe and have faith, hope comes with it. Without hope, what we are. We got faith in all of you. I have seen this afternoon how hard is your job, how complicated, it gets. It's very strong to be standing here day by day like you guys do. But in your hands relies the responsibility with the power of. For us, it's with the power of our Lord, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the Mother, that we come to tell you, please, help us. You guys have the opportunity. It's a place of a sacred place with hope, with light, with truth, and with all that fire that bring us here to speak, to testify, and manifest to us that is possible. It is possible to all work together and save a place, that it can be all worked around it together for a better future, because it's being done in Toronto. A lot of places have been saved. A lot of places have been conserved. A lot of places are being created in the matter of inclusiveness, of love, of hope and future. And the reality is that the faithful will remain. We will go there, as I go sometimes at night, right now, -13, to pray. And I tell you, we will continue to pray, but we need your help, and that's what we're here for. We are here to tell you, it's already been determined 6 of the 9 things required to be heritage are approved, and they are proof that it can be done. Help us to do it. Give us hope, give us love, and give us what we need to keep, to keep our faith alive, and to keep our Lord with all of you, because the Lord is love, and our Lord Jesus Christ is first. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Yosvani. Are there any questions? No? Robert Lyon? Robert? Go ahead.
Thanks for letting me speak. It's when I saw the picture of the shrine now, the video, it brought back so many memories. It's such a beautiful place, as I'm sure everybody can see in the video how beautiful it is. And you know what? We have so many people that are going to tell you more stories. Mine is just one, and I live in Orangeville, and I do real estate in Orangeville, and I have a wife and 3 kids, and my life, I consider my life is good. It's blessed today. I have a close relationship with God, and about 15 years ago, it wasn't like that. And you might think, why is somebody from Orangeville coming to Toronto? And I grew up in Toronto. Actually, I lived in North York. I had a good life until a certain time in my life, and then I hit a crisis point like a lot of us. And it was a dark time, and I turned to the wrong things, including alcohol. And, I was going down the wrong path. And, places like the Shrine, when I visited the Shrine, I felt the presence there, like the people behind me can attest to. It's such a wonderful place. And it truly transformed my life. I can say without a doubt I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for places like the Shrine. It's such a valuable place. Really, if we let it go, we're doing such a disservice, because like we've heard, we don't have places like this. There's no words to describe it. And I noticed in the video too, there were young children walking around there, and that touched my heart, because we need places like this for our young people, because we all hear stories about all the suffering and all the different things that they turn to that are not healthy things. And places like the Shrine can and we as we will hear and we've heard, can transform lives. It transformed my life, and it can transform so many other lives. It's such an invaluable, it's such a valuable place. And you know what, at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, really what's important in life, we have to, we have to gauge that there's successes, right? We all like to have successes in our life, but really what's important, right? And it's our connection with friends and community at the end. I think that's what's really going to make the difference. And places like the Shrine, they're so valuable in keeping families together, and keeping people on the straight track. I mean, and you're going to hear more stories. Please find it in your heart to do something to try to save it. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Robert. Any questions? No? Salvatore Aiello? Are you online, Salvatore?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Welcome. You've got 3 minutes. You can start as soon as you're ready.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Salvatore Iello, and I'm here today to talk about the serious situation concerning the Marian Shrine of Gratitude as a heritage site located at 3100 Western Road, Toronto, Canada. Today, I would like to remember Father Basil, the founder of the Marian Shrine of Gratitude, and tell a bit of history so you can understand the reason of my presence here today. I would like to start with a personal experience at the shrine, and this is the reason why I'm supporting this cause. In 2007, I was having dinner with a friend of mine, Tony Mara. He was suffering, he still suffers today of MS. And during the evening, I asked him, why never take in consideration a trip to Our Lady of Lourdes? And he told me that Our Lady of Lourdes was actually here in Toronto, at Weston and Shepherd. And he gave me a few details about Angie, Father Basil, what happened to him, and I was far away from God. I was not going to church, and I was in a very dark place. So I asked Tony if he can please arrange me a meeting with Angie and Father Basil. And after a few days, I was able to meet up with Angie and Father Basil. With Angie at the community center. And when I arrived, I actually arrived there with my brother. My brother was with me that day. And we were going down the stairs. All of a sudden, I heard a strong smell of roses. And I asked Angie where the smell was coming from. And she replied to me with a smile that Mother Mary was waiting for me for a very, very long time. And we stopped at the chapel in the community center, me, my brother Angie, my brother sit down, me and Angie went up to the altar and we start praying. One moment, Angie told me, Mother Mary and Jesus are here and they're taking all your sins out of you. And while we were praying, more I was praying, more I was feeling light. I feel like I was in heaven, even I was at the moment on earth. And I felt I made a change in myself. And at one point, I noticed my brother running out of the church. And after we finished praying, I asked him, I said, brother, why did you run out of the church? He said, you started shaking like a leaf. I said, but I didn't move at all. And that was a miracle that happened over there. And after I would like to, and after I went down to the shrine and I went to talk and pray and meet Father Basil. And from there, it was born a beautiful relationship between me and him that I will always cherish in my heart forever. And I would like to talk about another experience that happened to a friend of my wife and a dear friend of mine, Jennifer. She suffered, unfortunately, of bone cancer. And I brought up to her the story of the shrine, and she comes from a very religious background. And she said, please bring me there.
I'm afraid you're at the end of your time. Okay.
Can I just finish quickly, 30 seconds, the story?
3 seconds.
30 seconds, please.
No, I'm afraid I can't do that for you. One last sentence.
Okay, basically, Jennifer had a miracle over there at the shrine. I was with them present. She arrived over there with a wheelchair, and after praying and smelling again the roses, praying with Father Basil, she was able to walk down to the shrine and by herself without no wheelchair whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that story, both of those stories. Are there questions? No? Next I have Roxana Rock. Roxana? Hi, welcome.
A little PowerPoint. It's a little bit longer than 3 minutes, but the most part is the video. There are some scenes when I was in the hospital.
Can we have some AV help, please?
Sylvia is not here.
Oh, Sylvia, Roxanne, he said.
No, Sylvia is not here, so can she have a few more minutes? It's really worth what she wants to say.
He said Roxana.
Yeah, no, it's your turn.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry, Roxana's online? No.
Where did we have you plugged in?
Oh, I'm right here.
On the side.
Okay. Sorry, I got 3 people telling me things here.
Oh, this way.
You're Roxana.
As
Welcome.
Oh.
Sylvia's online.
She's online, yeah. She's waiting.
Yeah. Sylvia?
Okay, this video.
Hi, just one sec.
Yeah.
Sylvia, we're just going to promote her. I just need to check in that she's happy to share her time, okay?
Oh, we need to have the sound hooked up. Remember how it wasn't working last time?
While we're getting the video set up.
There we go. Okay, making sure that that's working. Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh, no video? Okay. So this is.
Okay, so Sylvia is disconnected from the meeting. I'm going to take it on faith that you had it worked out with her that you could have her time. Okay?
I was on the
So
list
I'll
as
give you
well.
6 minutes.
Okay. Here's a little video about my catastrophic car accident in 2010.
On November 21st, 2010, Roxana Rack's life changed in the blink of an eye. She had been driving on Highway 401 just outside Kingston when she became involved in a serious collision, putting her face to face with what could have been her final moments. Veronica, a Frontenac County paramedic, was first to arrive on scene.
She was in here, like in this lane, and the car was somewhere over here.
Roxana had been thrown from the vehicle. She was unconscious in the roadway, bleeding, and had stopped breathing. But there was hope. Roxana's heart was still beating. Veronica recalls knowing if she could help Roxana breathe, she would still have a fighting chance.
I remember the glass that was in her eyes from the car, and I kept wanting to brush it.
No, that was the paramedic who gave me CPR. Yeah, as I'm saying, you can go ahead. Sure. As I'm speaking, right? So they didn't do a surgery here in Canada, in Kingston, Ontario. They didn't want to fix it in Trillium Hospital. I saw 10 doctors. I had a seizure 2012. My bone flap fell in 2.5 centimeters, touching my brain membrane. I saw 10 neurosurgeons in Canada. They didn't do good reports, so I went to Miami, I went to Cleveland, I went to Germany, I went to Poland, and I saw 5 doctor neurosurgeons in England to do my repair operation on my bone flap. Until I found 2013, 3 doctors were involved, surgery. And thanks to God that I didn't have to have 2 surgeries, I didn't have to have a shunt in my head. That basically takes half of my life away. They removed the shunt because they said they did it incorrectly here in Canada. And if I waited 1 more month, I would have fallen asleep or have never woken up. And after the hospital, I came out in a wheelchair. I was paralyzed. And as my parents told that the Marine Shrine of Gratitude prayed for me, many people prayed for me, and there's a lot of masses. So please, let's go there and see where this location is. So my dad and mom took me there. And then they said, okay, I came in the wheelchair. And my dad said, get up, right? I'm like, no, I can't move. He's like, get up with my assistance. So as I stood up, I basically got up and I took a couple of steps first, and I went to a lot of processions, right? And every weekly I went there to give me more motivation for 3 years to find a neurosurgeon, which I told you, in Johns Hopkins, Baltimore, Maryland, as I had my last surgery. And I wish I would show you pictures of me in the wheelchair in Weston, and how I was standing beside Father Basil, and how he came to Kingston, Ontario 4 times with Father Myron, and Trillium Hospital weekly, just to pray over me, and how there's blood in my head, that I need another surgery, but Father Basil was saying a rosary, and they did a CT scan, no surgery needed. And there's a situation with my leg, because I had a fractured femur as well, and my other leg was also injured. And my dad said, please, Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, for her not to have another surgery. And the knee just popped back in place. And then the swelling went down, and then I didn't need another surgery on my left leg. No, it's a PowerPoint.
Roxana,
Yes.
why don't you just keep telling your story? You were doing it quite beautifully.
Okay, yes. So basically, that's the story.
Sometimes technology doesn't help.
Yeah. And I just want to show you some pictures and how the paramedic said I'm a walking miracle. And thanks to God, I'm standing here alive because of many miracles on the shrine. And that's where I was.
Okay.
No volume.
Shattered like you've never been before. The life you knew in 1,000 pieces on the floor. Words fall short in times like these, but this world drives you to your knees. You think you're never gonna get back to the you they used to be.
Breathing poop on my neck.
Tell your heart to beat.
And that's the Bible that Father Bowser brought for me from Rome. As you see him right beside me, that's my home. I couldn't remove my left side of my body.
Step into the light.
And that's the Marine Shrine. There's like hundreds of people praying for me, as you see on the images. And you see a procession on the field.
Tell your heart to beat again.
As you notice how many people are on the procession, and how my dad was holding me as I'm going through the procession.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Next, I'm going to go to Peter Scully. Peter? Peter Scully. No? Ida Palma? Good afternoon, Ida.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay.
You've got
you
3
for
minutes
having
to
me.
address the committee.
Before me, you have Mama Mary, Jesus.
Could you move closer to the microphone, please, so that we can hear,
with your
so the folks
request, I
online
will.
can hear you?
Okay.
There you go.
Good afternoon to everybody. Peace be with you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Okay. I have lots to say about Mama Mary in that place there over there. I brought a lot of people. They were healed, not just physically, but also spiritually. And also money-wise. Somebody told me a lot of stories. Anyway, I might make it short. I'm a Rosary Apostle at the volunteer in the school, so I have a lot to say. Anyway, also I have the Holy Spirit in me. And plus I bring communion to the sick every Wednesday at the house behind the Memorial River. And also I'm Doris St. Paul Cooperative. Everything is volunteer. Okay, what I want to say, so don't mind me if I talk too much or the way I talk, because I have Mama Mary in my heart, the Holy Spirit, and I'm sincerely, it's not me talking, it's them. Okay, what I want to say, that place over there is absolutely sacred. It's a sacred, yes. Yeah. I remember when in 1 year, matter of 3 or 4 months, 3 special people got the took. Okay, this will be done. So my dad is 6 months before my husband, and Dominic, my husband. Then a month after my husband was my brother Albert. And he wasn't married when we opened up the document. Ida Palma is the next kin. Imagine I was shopping on St. Clair for his clothing, for his funeral place at the cemetery, Prospect Cemetery, and the mass. But I had a lot of strength, spiritual and mentally and strength. Why? because Mama Mary at the Shrine de Gratitude, she helped me. She called me, come, 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 especially with no people over here. Kneel down in front of me, close your eyes, and just attract your mic picture. So actually, children, if you don't know when you see something, especially when it's a saint, you know. So first you straight you look at, then you close your eyes. It's all in front of you. So anyway, Mama Mary, we went to pray with all our faith, with all our strength. She was with us, and she responded according to what was right for us, because she went to her Holy Son. He's the King, remember, he's the King. So, and asked if it was okay for so-and-so, this. If it wasn't, we felt it. I did. All my friends I brought over there too, they said, no, Ida didn't respond to me because it's no good for you. Not everything is good for everybody, I said. Keep it pray, and what is, and what it gave to you is what is yours to be well. So the most important thing, rosary, that's how I tell my children at the school. I say the rosary, I tell your mom and dad, never go to bed before you have rested the rosary alone. I come from a family 8. Not there us, we could go finish the day, if in the evening, late in the evening, around the fireplace. Yeah, okay, I know.
Okay.
I know.
I'm gonna have
So
to
I'm
stop
sorry,
you
I
there.
told you before.
I know.
I'm Italian.
Thank you so
I like
much.
to chat. But I'm saying
Thank
the
you
truth.
so much, Ida. I have to go on to the next deputant now, okay? Thank you. Next, I'm going to call Oksana Kivan. Oksana? Oksana Kivan. Is Oksana online? No. No. Gianfranco Cristiano? Gianfranco, I understand you're online. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
You have 3 minutes to address the committee. You can start as soon as you want.
Thank you for your time. Good afternoon, everyone. As you can hear, multiple stories. Everybody has their own story in which they feel close to the Marian Shrine of Gratitude and to this property. I always found this place as a place of solace, place where I can meditate and just gather my thoughts. But instead of telling you my personal story, I like to mention some facts. And some facts that we need to really, really consider is this. The Marian Shrine of Gratitude has been there for many, many years, before it was even a thought of, being purchased at all. We have to remember that this was and will always be a landmark. This property was sold without any knowledge. There was not anybody mentioned that this property was for sale. This property was never listed. This property, by fax, was sold privately, and Mr. Baps had the knowledge of knowing what was at that site. Just like the Heritage Committee says, you did a 5-minute search, you'll see that there was an application made pre-COVID to make this landmark a heritage site. Also, when you're buying a property and you're planning development on a property that's majority floodplains, there's the Humber River there, it's protected by the Conservation Authority, you're always going to submit plans to the city to see what you can do at that site. That was never done. And another point that I want to make that's a fact. Everybody who has property in the city receives an impact assessment of their property. And everybody knows that properties are never sold below impact assessments. So if I have a bungalow that's impact assesses at $800,000, I'm not selling it for $800,000. It's probably being sold for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. This property was assessed at $23 million by impact, and it was sold for $16 million. Now you might say that's not very relevant or important. No, there's red flags here on this property and the way it was purchased and what the plans are for this property. So I understand that, we tried to work with Mr. Baps, and I apologize that he's in this situation, but you're trying to remove a landmark that's been there for many, many years. Also, he made it very difficult by putting up fences when there was an active lease by the city, which is us, the people or the city, to use the fields, to use the Humber Line pathway. I have a cousin of mine who's part of a cycling group. They always ride their bikes and cut through there. He completely blocked that off, whether that's legal or not. he's making it very difficult to even assess that property. We need to really consider what this is to the people. And I know that Samuel Babs has the last say, but he's going to play the race card of discrimination, which is very offensive to people that actually suffer from racism and discrimination.
Gianfranco, I'm afraid you've come to the end of your time.
And stops him.
I'm afraid I'm going to
And I
have to
hope
ask
that
you
you
to stop there, okay?
Make this a heritage site.
thank
you
you.
very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? No? Next, I have Iola Fortino. Hello. You know, you don't have to.
Okay.
Make
Thank
yourself
you.
comfortable.
Thank you. I love that I just emailed and I got a chance to speak. It was like quick, not like the school trustees. Anyways, I'm so happy to be here, and I owe it to Father Basil because, you know, he helped me, and he was the only one that stood by me, and I needed protection there regarding agendas. But anyways, so and Robert Ford, I hope we love you and pray for us that this not only become a heritage, but that we speed up the process. Because from what I understand, speaking is that it's going to be a long time. And how can we have those gates closed? Can we not speed it up? Can the city not buy it? Is there any loophole that we can get this place open again? You know, this is a holy place. It's not a regular heritage place. It's a place that Mother Mary opened up because of the miracle with Father Basil. You know, he was gardening. He was blinded. He asked Mother Mary, "Please help me, and I'll build you build you a shrine to thank you." And that's the way gratitude came. So it's like, this is something that Mother Mary built. We can't mock her. We can't be, these fences cannot be closed. This place cannot be closed, you know, and I understand, like, speaking today, I didn't even know it was closed. I just want to tell you I didn't even know it was closed. I want to tell you my little story, how I came about it. And it's mother chairs, whatever we had. So I walked up the hill, and I turned to my right, and it's like, wow, it felt like I just went in, and it's like, I was very nervous and exasperated. When I came out of there, I just felt a certain peace, and I was smiling instead of a downtrodden. You know, my sons noticed it. They notice everything, these kids. So, you know, it was just by happenstake that I ended up at that beautiful shrine. Then from there, I met Father Basil, and we became great friends. So seeing him in a picture, you know, we became great friends. And when he was sent to away, it was like it broke my heart. I couldn't even go back there. Like, he was sent away, and the other priest took over. And I don't know how it was sold, but this is like, you know, like if they build anything near there, I'm telling you, you know, anything, because it's just going to cause. I mean, they've bought the house, but let's leave that area a shrine, you know, let's leave it, because Mother Mary's wants other people to come, to go up that hill like I did during times of travel. Maybe your children, your grandchildren, your friends, your family are going to go there, are going to experience the same thing. And you know, then my kids went there, and I was so happy because we needed it, you know, at the time. But and you know, the other story, and then I found out.
I have to ask you to stop there.
Okay,
There
I just
isn't
wanted
time
to say
for a
one
second
thing.
story. Just one last sentence, okay?
And then I found out the Gardner family, it was owned by the Gardner, and he was a worldly guy, but then he converted, and that's how this shrine all started. He sold it to the
Thank you very much for that. Oh, just a second, Iola. Councillor Crisanti wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, Luz, a few more deputies. I just want to quickly understand and clarify something in everyone's mind, maybe just my own.
Sure.
So who closed the shrine? Is it the previous owner or the new owner when the new owner purchased it?
Sorry.
The shrine is closed. Let me start with that.
Yes.
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 Who closed it?
Who closed it? The people that have purchased it. No, it's in our hearts, but sorry, we need it open to go there and put the statues
the
back.
people who purchased it closed it.
You can't mock God. Like, you know, there's going to be a fire nearby. It's not going to be at the shrine.
No, please, just answer my question. Who closed it? The people.
I need order in the room.
Yeah,
People,
maybe
I'm
she
very
can answer
sorry.
better.
I'm very sorry.
Okay.
She can answer, because that just came on to, yeah.
All right,
But-
I'll
But
ask
but I
staff,
believe
no worries.
the new purchasers who closed it, the
Yes,
new
okay,
purchasers.
thank you. That's it.
Thank you, yeah. And maybe the priest on behalf of, right, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. Irene Tavares. Is Irene online? No? Okay. Tim Lambrionis. Tim? Not online? No? Marie Dave? Oh, sorry. Hi, who are you? Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Been here all day, and introduce myself.
Before you start, Tim, guys, the acoustics in these rooms are not great, so if many people are talking, we can't all hear each other, and we might miss someone's name being called, okay? So I know you're very passionate about this, but if we can just keep it down a little, then we can hear the deputants better, all right? Tim, you've got 3 minutes. You can start as soon as you're ready.
All right, thanks. Okay, yeah. I'm a former board member of the Emery Village BIA, one of the founding board members, currently sitting as the chair of the Arts and Heritage Subcommittee of the BIA. And it's my great pleasure today to give a little photographic tour of Percy Gardner and Gertrude Gardner and what this historical building, how it all came about. So Edith George already commented about the technical aspects, but in terms of number 9, where the property was not considered to be a landmark, it has been a landmark since 1930 when it was being built. And the Toronto Star ran a story of this future beautiful building that was going to be built by Percival Ryan Gardner. And the building turned into much more of a historical significance to the community. Percy Gardner and Gertrude were philanthropists. He earned his money through brass and through the Toronto Stock Exchange, and they were giving charitable donations to whomever really wanted it. They held lavish parties, fundraising parties during the 1930s with the $75,000 swimming pool that they talked about building, and they giving all the money to charity. The one thing that was missing in the staff report, I just want to point out as something technical, Councillor, it's the definition is culture, heritage, value, or interest. The staff report excluded the or interest part, and that is particularly important because under the Ontario Heritage Act, it talks about the public interest. One thing I wanted to point out, which was missed, was the significant impact to the area, to the Toronto Carrying Place and our Indigenous ancestors. As you can see, the Toronto Carrying Place went right by there. Further supporting that it was considered to be a landmark, this is a map that was drawn by Percy Gardner on how to get up to his estate cottage during the time. And as you can see, you could travel down from Toronto and head up here on Weston Road. My last little bit, I just wanted to run through some of the photographs of the Crang that took over in 1950 and the significance of Crang's Pond. So this is taken in 1932, and this is prior to Crang's Pond being built. You can see this gravel pit area. This one here is taken in 1950, just slightly before. Down here is the gravel pit area. Another further one from 1950. This is prior to the pond being in place. That's a little more clear in view. Right here is at the time, the Crang Estate. This is the home. This is Shepherd and Weston. And Crang's Pond would turn up right here. 13 seconds. Okay, so the last one is, you can see Crang's Pond is finally there when they quarried the gravel, and it filled in by 1953. And I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tim. Are there any questions? No, seeing none, thank you so much. The next deputy I have listed is Marie Day. Marie? Hi, Marie, I understand you're online. Can you hear me? Marie, can you make sure that you've unmuted your microphone? Just be patient, please.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Marie, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Can you make sure you're really close to your microphone and speaking directly into it so we can hear you clearly?
Yes, thank you. Am I clear?
Yes, you are.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Marie Dave, and I want to share how the Marian Shrine of Gratitude has brought hope to my life and many others. First point is the healing of my personal struggles. In 2014, I faced a precancerous tumor, which made me feel lost and alone. The Marian Shrine became a peaceful place for me to reflect and find comfort. When I looked at Mother Mary's face at the grotto, I felt a sense of love and warmth that words cannot capture. It felt like she was encouraging me to trust her, let go of my worries, and find my way back home. This moment lifted a heavy burden from me, and I returned to the shrine 2 more times, seeking the beauty and strength I had found there. I feel like a small part of the many stories of healing that have happened at the shrine. I later discovered more about the shrine through YouTube videos showcasing the healings of different individuals, cases that may seem impossible to cure. Second point is the Marian Shrine as an aid to our healthcare system. Father Basil Sambalista founded the Marian Shrine of Gratitude in 2005. He wrote a book called A Memorial of Gratitude, where he shares over 20 real cases of healing, such as people who were once blind being able to see, and those who were crippled walking again. These stories demonstrate how the shrine has transformed lives. Canada needs the shrine, especially since we face a crisis in our healthcare system that Premier Ford described as hallway healthcare. It is important to protect the sacred site. Third point, the Marian Shrine of Gratitude benefits our school system. Many schools visit this beautiful place, whether they be for reasons such as field trips and conferences, allowing young children and teenagers to enjoy wholesome activities with their families. It provides a unique space for connection with nature and God that they may not find in public parks. Fifth point, the Marian Shrine of Gratitude is a place that provides a venue for musical talents. Young people with musical talents held youth rallies at the shrine, using its outdoor performance spaces to improve their skills through music festivals. In 2008, a youth concert rally was held at the shrine where there were at least 1,000 youth in attendance. In summary, the Marian Shrine of Gratitude welcomes everyone, regardless of their faith or background. It is a safe place where people can escape the challenges of daily life and reconnect with their spirituality. This diversity of visitors shows why we need to advocate for the shrine's heritage designation.
Oksana?
Thank you.
Or Marie, sorry, Marie.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I got ahead of myself there. Now I'm going to call on Oksana. Oksana Kevin, I understand you're online.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello?
Sorry, we couldn't
okay.
connect before, but now we've got you back.
Yeah, I appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. Can you hear me again? Because it's talking.
Perfect.
Hello? Yeah, okay. My name is Oksana Kaivan. I support the 100% designation as the heritage of this miracle place of Marian Shrine of Gratitude, where thousands of people receive blessing, peace, and help in their life. We need to save this place for Toronto. It is true gift like Lourdes, Fatima from God and Mother Mary. We need it especially now when so many bad things happen in the world. We need God's help, grace and mercy to restore our hearts and soul. First time I came to Marian Shrine of Gratitude was in 2010. My friend took me there. At this time of my life, I suffered from a little nervous breakdown and anxiety. I needed help to find peace in my mind and heart, and I found there at the miracle place called Marian Shrine of Gratitude. Today, when I see on the TV, like 45% of young people in Toronto are mentally ill and need help in their young life, they need miracle place like this. I'm sure that this is even better therapy than going to psychiatrist, which is also good, but unfortunately, young people cannot afford it because it's very expensive, $60, $70 per hour, like you know. Canadian statistics shows that 60,000 people died from maid suicide last year. It's terrible. They lost hope. The place like this will help them to heal and restore their lives. We need this gift from God in Canada now than ever. Don't you agree? I know like Angela Carboni, who used to work in school at this property for so many years. She has an amazing group of people who works with the children and youth, teaching them how to start to believe in God and themselves and turn their lives around and get hope. She used to bring around 10,000 children and young people a year to retreat from many schools in Toronto daily, and we witnesses all that. Also, the example during the COVID, all churches were closed, but the Mary Shrine was open 24/7, and we were coming at the time because the gate was always open and Mother Mary was waiting for us. And now I'm begging you all to make the right decision to save the Marian Shrine of Gratitude in Toronto for Canada, for our kids, grandkids, and generation to come. Also, I would like to ask Mr. Samuel to give us permission to restore that piece of heaven on the earth. By the way, he told us that he's a Catholic and his kids are going to Catholic school. So he and his family will be blessed by God forever if they help us to restore it.
Thank you very much. Members, I've had a request that we just take a 5-minute break. We're at bare quorum, so we need to just take a break for 5 minutes, okay? We'll be right back. We will be back, I promise. All those in favor, opposed, carried. What I'm going to do is ask the clerk to speak to you, okay? All right, thank you. Easy now. Okay, we've got quorum back in the room. Okay. Next, the next deputant I have listed is Santiago Novillo. Santiago's not here? Okay, I still have to call folks, okay? Just relax. Olga Rubino? Olga's online. Olga, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Olga, welcome. You've got 3 minutes. You can address the committee as soon as you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much. Just trying to start the video here. Okay, it doesn't work. That's fine. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm here to plead for the support of maintaining 3100 Weston Road as a heritage property to be preserved in its original state. I'm a retired French Immersion High School department head and supervising principal of elementary international schools. And I have served the community in education for over 40 years. I've also worked as course director at the Faculty of Ed in preparing new teachers to teach languages, and I currently teach at the University of Toronto. My plea for keeping the site as a heritage site as it is twofold. The first reason is based on education and the historical validity of our unique history and education in Ontario. And the second one is a personal connection through family and also through faith. So the first one, Catholic education. School building and chapel. The building exists since 1962. It houses a chapel as well. Education and regular religious practices were held in the chapel as an integral part of Catholic education. The historical piece here is that research papers have been written which have given evidence to the importance of the historical movement that took place in the 1800s through the British North America Act, and also to the famous Tiny Township case in 1925. And because of these two historical movements in education, there has been the creation of Catholic schools in the province of Ontario, which is unique to Canada. The preservation of the school as is, the chapel as is, the property as is, honors the importance of this history in Ontario. The second point that I would make is on a personal and faith-based reason. Personally, my aunt, Esterina Colagori, who's now 97 years of age, she, along with at least 20 other people, have been involved for over 17, 18 years in volunteer work and in helping to maintain and to grow, to help the community to grow in faith through the shrine. The Marian Shrine served the spiritual needs of many people from all walks of life, regardless of religion, gender, nationality, cultural background, or affiliation. And all people are welcome. She has been a personal witness to many and to myself as well as to many miracles that have taken place.
Hi, I'm sorry, your 3 minutes are up. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Next, I have Derek Ferguson. Angela Sagasi. She's gone. Penny Lyon. Penny Lyon. Oh, hi, Penny. Welcome. Good afternoon, Penny.
We would all like to go to shrines such as Garibaldi, Knox in Ireland, and Lourdes in France, Mother Mary. I would like to speak to you as a grandmother. I have two wonderful grandchildren, and we would go to the shrine and we would say the Hail Mary and the Divine Mercy and explain to them about the Stations of the Cross. They are so impressionable, and they ask you many questions. And now they have a rosary group in their home. We need to keep this sacred space given to us by Mother Mary. It is such a blessing to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person I have is John Smith. Good afternoon, John.
Hello, there's a few of us high parking up here, so.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that
Away you
we're
go.
recognized. I'd like to thank you very much for your support today, and especially Councilor Perusa for his support as well. Thank you very much for your day. Good night.
Teresa Lubinsky? Online? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. You've got 3 minutes.
Good. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa Lubinsky, and I am the school trustee at the Etobicoke Lakeshore and Parkdale High Park of the Toronto Catholic District School Board. Again, I'd like to thank Councillor Anthony Perusa and Councillor James Pasternak for submitting a motion to the City Council to request heritage designation at 3100 Weston Road. This motion proposed complete protection of River Maid, the Gardner family's former country estate, and the Marian Shrine of Gratitude located at 3100 Weston Road, steps away from the banks of the Humber River. The Gardner's family opened their home, River Maid, to various charities and organizations, such as the Red Cross and Group Number 3 of the Women's Auxiliary of the St. Clair YMCA. The First Nations of North America used the property's trail as part of a trade group that connected northern and western Canada with Mexico's Gulf. In 1958, the Basilian Fathers purchased River Maid to use it as a monastery and later filled in the outer swimming pool. This area evolved into a prayer garden called the Marian Shrine of Gratitude, where the public was welcomed and where Father Basil Cymbalista created a Marian Shrine of Gratitude. After he passed away in 2018, the shrine remained public. People from Toronto and various parts of the world have visited the shrine. My family and I have been going there for about a decade. Additionally, I know the spiritual value of the place from the people from different cultures who have visited the place. I was fortunate to see the interior of the house. The well-maintained original and historical structure is extraordinary. The City of Toronto needs to acknowledge the historical and cultural significance of River Maid and the architectural value of the home, the significance of the Gardner family in Toronto's history, and the evolution of the Marian Shrine of Gratitude as a prayer garden loved by thousands of people from various cultures. It uniquely merges old and new values. The city needs to recognize its historical sites through the eyes of new Canadians and immigrants, and River Maid offers that opportunity. In the fall of 23, I began working with my colleagues at the Toronto Catholic District School Board to protect the property at 3100 Weston Road. Together, we formed a motion that passed unanimously, requesting that the City of Toronto designate the former Gardner family summer resort, the former Basilian Monastery House, including Marian Shrine of Gratitude, as a heritage site protected by the Ontario Heritage Act. In this forgotten northwest corner of Toronto, no property stands with this wealth of heritage value. As an elected official, I am entrusted to protect people's needs, and I'm here to represent a number of my constituents from Etobicoke Lakeshore and Parkdale High Park. The Marian Shrine of Gratitude
Teresa,
is the heritage of
Teresa,
New Toronto.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
your 3 minutes is up. Thank you so much for your deputation.
Mr. Chair, can I use a little bit extra? There's a lot of people that missed the presentation.
Teresa,
we saved quite
I'd
a
love
bit.
to be able to give everyone extra time, but I really just can't. We've had
Okay,
a lot of
just-
deputations today, and in fairness, I've been limiting everybody, okay?
Okay, just one sentence, Mr. Chair.
One more sentence.
Okay. I would like to ask that the City of Toronto listens to its people.
Thank you very much. The next deputant I have listed is Samuel Babs. Welcome, Samuel.
Good afternoon, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for giving the opportunity to speak to you today about this situation. Thank you. Can you hear me now? Perfect. My name is Samuel Babs. I'm the property owner 3100 Western Road, and also a developer out of North York. 8 days after we purchased this property, back in 2023, August, the Councilor Peruta sprung into action. He informed the city staffers that he wanted my property designated for its religious attachment as well as the the history of the house. One day after I closed the deal, the Toronto Catholic School Board sent a memo both to the city and the province, both that the city and the province ought to designate the sites as protected under the Heritage Act. In other words, the councilor used the ruse that due to the site's Marian Shrine.
I'm going to pause your time, okay? This is something that from time to time I have to say to deputants. The decisions that we make are decisions of the entire council. Okay, I ask you please to talk to the policy issues and not an individual, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so based on the rules, I'm gonna state the facts. The facts is this: I purchased the property and I feel that the councilor, again, I can't help but to say that, because that's the subject, that's the subject matter, came after me and wanted to designate my property as heritage.
Okay. Samuel, I explained this once already. I'm explaining it again. If you want to speak to the public policy issues or the actions of the government of the City of Toronto, that's fine. But what we don't do here is single out individuals, okay? If I have to ask you again, then I'm going to stop your deputation. Do we understand each other?
I have to try to keep my statement, because my statement is all surrounding that. So.
If you can't speak just to the public policy issues and the actions of the government overall, then I'm going to have to ask you to stop.
Sounds
so
good.
Why don't you try to talk to the public policy issues and the actions of the government, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I think where the matter stands at the moment is we are working very closely with the public. We've given the public access to our property to continue the religious prayers that's been occurring on our property. So as far as we're concerned on the public, we are on good terms. The problem right now is that they expanded the heritage to the community center to basically impede our development. The mayor's mandate is obviously to provide more housing in the city of Toronto. We purchased this property for $16.5 million with intention of providing over 2,000 units to the community, which is very much needed. And our project includes rental housing, affordable housing for the member of the public. Unfortunately, we have basically been our development has been impeded by the process of trying to designate the entire property as heritage, which is completely unfounded. So unfortunately, this matter obviously will end up in OLT, if approved by the board, and ultimately end up in court. So if that's where we want to end up, no problem, let's go ahead. But the public has our full support. The public can continue to use the property for prayers. We are not fighting with the public. We're here to work with the public. Andrew and I are good friends. We text each other all the time about this particular issue. The main issue here is expanding the heritage to the community center that has no heritage value whatsoever to impede our development, which again contradicts the mayor's mandate to provide housing for the people of Toronto. That's my main concern.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? No? Oh, Councillor Myers has a question for you. Okay.
Through you, Chair. So just to be clear, today, if I were to go there, could I visit the shrine?
The shrine has been dismantled by the previous owner.
Okay. So your position is that you have no issue with providing the land that the shrine was on previously for the community to pray. You have an issue, though, with extending that heritage designation to include the community center, which would impede the development overall.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Nunziata.
Just a question. So when you purchased, did you purchase the property from someone else? You're the second owner of the site?
We purchased it from the church.
Oh, you purchased it from the church. So when you purchased it, were you not aware the heritage and the shrine and the community center, were you not aware of what was surrounding
We knew that the property had a shrine on it, and the fathers, we interviewed the father about that, and they told us that as far as the church is concerned, and matter of fact, that then the church sent a memo to the members and the public, which state that the shrine is not really recognized by Rome. And again, that's the father's position when we purchased the property. But our intention from the very beginning is to retain the house. The house, I love the house. The house is of fantastic heritage value, and the pole where the shrine basically resides. So we had no intention in destroying the house or the pole. Our main development basically limits to the community center, which is where we plan to demolish and build housing, affordable housing for the people of Toronto. But now, we know what's going on with the intention of, try to expand whatever the shrine into the community center, which doesn't correlate. There's no correlation between both.
Well, maybe not to you, but to the community there is.
Questions, please.
Yeah, so are you saying that you cannot, you cannot build your development at all if this is designated?
Well, it's going to affect the marketability of the property.
Well, you still have.
It's going to decrease the value of the property tremendously. And
why would it decrease?
Because if people know that the property is in heritage, first and foremost, lenders won't touch it. And it's just going to affect the marketability, is the facts.
Wow, okay.
And that's gonna impede the mayor's mandate to provide housing to the people of Toronto, which
No, I understand the mayor's mandate, but also we understand the community's concerns as well, right?
Questions?
Yeah. Okay, no, that's it, thanks.
Okay.
That our interest aligns with the public. We are working with the public by giving them access. Matter of fact, I think we were meant to talk about allocating a land at the back to the public where they can have the shrine, and they can continue worshiping God or Jesus from that particular part. But if our entire development has been impeded through this process, then I think it's totally unfair.
Okay.
And we're not gonna stand by, just watch, because we've invested a lot of money. We could have taken our money somewhere else and buy a much bigger land and have a happy day. We chose to invest over $20 million into this property, and now we see our investment going down the drain. Obviously, we're not gonna sit down and watch that happen. So that's my position.
Okay. Councillor Crisanti, do you have questions?
Quickly, and I know it's getting really late. So did I just hear you say that you are prepared to allocate a portion of your property for the public to come and pray and continue the use of the shrine, and also to rebuild the shrine, because I understand you said that it's been taken down. Is that correct?
That's correct. To give you a little background, I went to a Catholic school growing up, right? St. Patrick's Grammar School. That was my school. I spent over 15 years in the school. My whole family, we came from Catholic background. So I'm not against the religion. I'm not against the faith. Matter of fact, it's a joyful thing when I see people at the property praying and walk. They're very peaceful people. We have no problem with them. So me and my partners have decided that we will allocate a portion of the property to very close by to where they were before. And I've told Angie this as well, the leader, that we're gonna assign allocated land for them to continue worshiping the worshipers, basically. But now using this process and expanding this process to the community center, it makes absolutely no sense to me. It's just an abuse of power. Because what does the community center got to do with the pool and the shrine? There's absolutely no correlation between both.
But I can understand why they want that to happen. Anyway,
they're not even asking. They're not even asking for the community center. They want the pool area.
Okay, folks, we listen to each other with respect here. Okay, thank you. Continue.
Right. The public aren't asking for the community center. What the public want, in accordance to Angie, the leader, is the pool area. They want to be by the pool area, close to the pool, somewhere close by the pool, right? To continue doing to continue to worship. We have no problem with that. So what does the community center got to do? Community center is actually very far from the pool area. So what does that got to do with I just don't get it.
Okay, I understand. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. In future, you should go before the members of the committee, okay? Councillor Perruzza?
I did not know that the that the questions were headed in this direction. So I just want to get some clarity as well. So are you saying that you're prepared to let the community go inside the fence that's been erected around the former shrine / pool area to celebrate? Is that, or is it someplace outside the fence?
I think what we've all agreed to is that, and Angie's a very reasonable lady, we've talked about this. The properties are, we have a house on the property, which obviously will retain, and the property and the pool area goes together. So you can't separate the house from the garden. Every property must have a garden, and the garden belongs to the residents that reside at the house. So I think it's quite unreasonable to expect the residents of the house share the garden with the public. They need the privacy. So Angie understands the fact that we have to allocate a little area close to the pool. Might not be in the pool exactly where it was before, but somewhere close by. And I think that's a reasonable resolution to this matter.
Would that be on the land that the city is currently leasing, or is it on the land that are not part of the lease inside the fence?
It's inside the fence.
Clearer.
It's inside the fence.
Inside the fence, okay. All right, fair enough.
Are those all the questions?
So then you would take those fences down?
We can't take the fences down because that's a private property, sir. People need the privacy, I'm sure. Would you take your fences down in your house?
No. Okay, so, okay, I think I'm clear on that.
I think it's very fair, right?
So, last question. You indicated heritage designation. You know that the lands there have been on the heritage registry of the city since 1997.
Correct.
Sorry?
Correct.
Okay, all right, fair.
But again, limited to the house.
Sorry?
Limited to the house, not the community center. The community center is not of heritage value, and you know that.
Okay.
And I think the problem is this whole thing is just a waste of time. It's wasting your time. It's wasting taxpayers' money. I think it's going to end up in the OLT, and OLT is going to strike it down. That's the end of it.
Okay. I believe that's all the questions. Yes. Are there any questions of staff? No. Councillor Perruzza as the visiting member first.
Are we done with the speakers? There's nobody else on the list? No?
That's correct.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have one very short, I understand the hour is late, and I don't want to belabor this. Just very, very briefly, because we've lost sight of what we are doing here today, what is the Preservation Board report recommendation to this committee? What does it do? Briefly.
Through the chair, at present, the recommendation is that the property at 3100 Weston Road be designated. Currently, the property is a contiguous nearly 14 acres, which is the original size of the residence lot. It represented in the designation is a description of the value of the house, and there are a number of values in the report stated, and the grounds in behind. The terraces, all the original work that was done to the rear. So when you look at a heritage designation, what you have to do is understand what the attributes are. So it's not just about where the boundary is, it's what is noted in the designation bylaw itself. We recognized at this stage that the house was the known quantity of value with the area in behind. And because we are now coming to understand the value of some modernist buildings in the city, and also understood the relationship of the chapel and the school to the house, we would agree that they are in separate places. They are not unrelated, but for the purposes of this designation, we didn't want to move forward on something we hadn't yet considered. So the part 2 of the recommendation is a request that staff take a look at the values of those of that individual building, essentially, and also to understand the relationship of the Humber River Valley as it pertains to Indigenous history. We can't regulate history, and we can't regulate faith. We can only describe what's there now. So to the extent that the shrine is a part of the house that is a part of the story. Another part of the story of the property is the period when the Order of St. Basil took over the whole 14 acres, expanded the ministry to include the chapel and the school. So we haven't done that evaluation yet. We haven't done that work. We haven't thoroughly explored the development application or anything to do with that. This is to the extent that we can as city staff, we try to remain development blind so that we're just looking at, as you started with, the issue before us. We have development in this city all over the place. That includes heritage buildings. And we may even find that the values are not there to designate the chapel and the school. We don't know. And if we do find that, then we would come forward with more recommendations. But we will continue to work with the owner on the application that's before us, and we'll continue to do our due diligence to make sure we've considered everything. But this designation is very specific at this point of time, and there might be a future report, but all the considerations that are before City Council can be taken into account in terms of housing, what the priorities are. We have many priorities. Heritage is one. And so it will be council that reconciles that. But as professional heritage staff, we have a responsibility to point out what has value to the community.
Thank you for taking this very long report and clarifying it so concisely for us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I just need some clarification. But the applicant made comments about this community center. Whose community center is it? Who does the community center belong to? Is this the city?
It's currently, as I understand it, under lease to the city.
It's under lease to the city.
Parks, Forestry, and Recreation are currently leasing it, along with, I believe, the playground to the rear.
Yeah, so we don't own the property, we just lease it out. So the applicant then, I mean, the owner said, just to clarify the report, that if we move the recommendation, we're designating the community center as well. Is that true?
No, it's a bit of a technicality,
Okay,
and I
I believe
understand
that's
why it
what
might
the-
create confusion.
Okay, because
Because the Heritage Act follows property boundaries. So unless there's a severance or unless there's a special new plan drawn that, you know, might separate out areas, the property for the purposes of the Heritage Act are what exists. But the important part is to read that in concert with a description of what the values and attributes are. Currently, the chapel and the school are not mentioned in the designation report. So they are within the boundaries of the designation, but they are not referenced as being of value. Which doesn't mean they're not. We're saying we haven't done that yet.
okay, because that's what we heard from the owner.
But we're always interested in scoping
Yeah,
things.
because there was a little bit of confusion on what his deputation was.
It is a technicality that,
Yeah,
that needs
yeah.
reckoning with, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Councillor Crisanti?
So then, can you clarify exactly what part of this site will be designated as per this report? So there's a school, there's a community center, there's a shrine, so there's other components. So can you quickly describe what it is that's being designated?
Sure, through the chair. So under the Heritage Act, you're designating what's called real property. So we have property lines and limits. So what is being designated as property is the entire 14 acres, which has a number of pieces and parts to it, of which one is the house, the area behind being the former swimming pool area, and later the Marian Shrine of Gratitude. So it pertains to the entire property, but what's being regulated is just the house and to the rear. At present, this designation only references those features.
Okay, so you got a tough job then, because now what we need to do is make sure that you're able to satisfy the public, make sure that the shrine will continue to survive for the long term, and also make sure that we're able to, you know, have a development, excuse me, that's going to be satisfactory to the community and to the developer, to someone that's going to, you know, invest in our community, provide housing, while at the same time, everything else is going on and it's coexisting in a peaceful manner.
Well, if in the form of a question, do you have? I would say we have a tough job and we have an amazing job.
Yes.
What I would say also is that we can't regulate use on private property. So the area, the house, we can't tell anybody who's going to live there. We can't tell the property owner of that where someone can or cannot access their property. We can't do that. We can recognize things historically, but the idea of use, and you know, it's from the community perspective, it's a good sign if there can be prayer happening close by, but it'll be up to the owner to decide who comes on their land and how it's going to be used. So that is also another distinction. We're not going to be, we can't police, the Heritage Police are not going to come out and do that, right? If we had Heritage Police, which I'd love.
I'm not sure I want to live in a world with Heritage Police. Okay, are there any other questions of staff? No, sir, I'm sorry. This is just in the committee now, okay? Yeah. Councillor Myers.
Sorry, through you, Chair. So just so I'm fully clear, I guess the issue is just the community center in terms of like the where the dispute is in terms of whether that can be redeveloped, but you are now examining whether the community center has heritage value.
We put in a recommendation and asked if council wished to direct us to do that.
And when you're saying direct us to examine whether there's heritage value?
Correct.
Okay, so no decision has been made?
No.
And how long would it take to do that evaluation?
Oh, I'm honestly, I couldn't say, I'm sorry. If we did Indigenous consultation, which we would intend to do, that can take a while, so I couldn't come up with a time. But it means that at present, the designation is as you see it today.
This is the thing, if there's no
okay, thank you. Okay.
Questions to speak? Councillor Perruzza.
So I'm not going to, I know that there's some confusion still amongst the committee members, so I'm not going to endeavor to try to explain that, because that explanation itself will come clearer and clearer as we move forward. Suffice it to say that no hearts should be palpitating here today, because you're not blocking, holding, stopping anything from happening on that site by your activity and action here today. You're just moving forward in the regular tempo and the regular cycle of council. So you have in front of you a heritage report that is very thorough, it's very comprehensive, it's very reasonable, it has a lot of nice pictures attached to it, and the recommendations are subtle and should be supported. Nothing more than that. What these folks, what these good people are here to ask you today is this. What these good people are here today to ask you is this. Why are they here before the Planning Committee? Because, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, you are the Planning Committee of the City of Toronto. Behind you sit the chief planner and all of the senior planners in the City of Toronto. These are the good folks who think about how lands are used in the City of Toronto, right across the city. That's why these folks are here. What they're here to tell you is that this site is important to them, has been historically important to them for 70+ years. This site has been accessible by the public. First as a high school, St. Basil the Great College School, later as a community center for another 25 years. The public has been going to and fro. It is a beautiful site. And you, as the planning authority and the planning decision makers in the City of Toronto, are going to be asked eventually. Shepherd Avenue stops up at this site. When you come to the site, what you encounter is a 2-story brick building that's sunken 1 floor down into the ground with a beautiful vista into the ravine. It is a gorgeous site with an incredible amount of heritage and environmental value. And it has been accessible to the community and to Torontonians for 70+ years. What do they want to do? You've heard all of the compelling stories about the last couple of decades, the Marian Shrine of Gratitude, which, I might add, is a site below top of bank in the provincially regulated floodlands. For 2 decades, thousands and thousands of people have been attending the site, improving the site. Since the first miracle from Father Basil, since that first miracle, 2 decades worth of people going there to do what? Hope, ask, pray, and thank. That's all they want to continue to do, because that's what they believe in. And they are asking you, as the planning authority of the city, please be mindful of that. They're asking the chief planner, please be mindful of that. What we want to continue to have here is access as you think about what happens here going forward. What we want you to think about is the history and the heritage and the vista and all of those other things as you plan and you go forward with this site. As you think about the value of this land at the center of this community. Not just for the community members, but for all Torontonians. That's what they're here to ask you to do. Please keep it top of mind, because it is a site that is important to them. They are not asking for anything that's unusual. They are asking eventually that you be their champions in helping them reestablish the Marian Shrine of Gratitude on provincially regulated floodplain lands well below top of bank. A site that they believe, we believe, have been the site of many a miracle. And hopefully you'll help us conclude another miracle in doing just that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Perruzza. Now, folks, I'm going to teach you another rule. There's another rule I'm going to teach you. So if you applaud or boo, that's considered to be you trying to influence our decision-making. And you know, Councillor Perruzza can influence this all by himself. Okay? So I'm going to ask you, when we're debating, to please hold that back. Okay? Thank you very much. Next to speak is Councillor Nunziata.
Okay, make it quick because I think everybody wants to go home. First of all, I'm going to move the recommendation, okay, that we have in the report, because I believe that that's what the community wants and they're very happy with those recommendations, correct? All right, good. So I want to thank the community and the deputations that were made today, and the stories and the miracles. You know, when I was listening to the stories, reminds me of Our Lady of Fatima, the movie Our Lady of Fatima. You know, where thousands of people came up in the mountain to pray. You know, so I want to thank everyone for taking the time to come out here and talk about their personal experience. And, you know, over the years, attending the shrine and praying, which is very important, because I in particular, as a good Catholic, I go to church every week. I read at church, so I understand the prayers and I understand how you feel. So I'll move the recommendation and let's just move on. And I want to thank everyone for being here.
Thank you. Any questions of the mover? No? Does anyone else wish to speak? No? Is there a member asking for a recorded vote? Okay. So we'll have a recorded vote. All those in favor? Councillor Myers, Councillor Perks, Councillor Nunziata, Councillor Crisanti. So that's unanimous. Okay. That concludes our business. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Toronto Public Service. Thank you to the clerks.